And good afternoon, everybody. Jim Miller and the man, David Kaplan, joining you here. Cap, it's so weird. It's nice. We're in short sleeves today. This is, I think, the first show we've been able to do all season in short sleeves, my friend. Although you had one where you were on vacation. So
I did one with you from Costa Rica. So I was in a bathing suit and shorts. But other than that, I've always been in a dress shirt, which I have over here for TV. So, yeah, ready to rock and roll, man. Excited to be with you. As always, I told you as we were chatting before you brought us live, this show is a ton of fun to do, but I love it because I get to do it with my friend. It's great.
And that's what makes it fun, Cap, is you can just talk about racing. We're friends. We've been friends for a long time. We can cover all spectrums of sports, but racing's kind of what has brought us together, which is the coolest thing. We're 2 weeks out from the Derby. It's weird. A horse that you used to own is actually starting at Hawthorne on Saturday. So
what?
You watch a horse like that. It's in a race on Saturday at Hawthorne. So it's kind of cool to see because this is a horse that it was your first horse, but going to be back in a race on Saturday at Hawthorne. So that'll be cool to see too.
Yeah, and I was telling you, you heard me yelling for a race before we came on. I bet the 4th at Aqueduct, and I had a horse, the 10 Bustin' Shout, and I played it 50 to win, and I just got the payoff now. Horse ran him down in the stretch and won, pulling away 50 to win 187.50. So it's a good way to start the day, man, with a horse win.
That's right. You're building the bankroll for Derby Day. And that's what we want to do. As always, we want to remind everybody, go to derby.hawthorneracecourse.com so you can get your reservations at Hawthorne, any of our Club Hawthorne OTBs. Things are going to sell out too, Cap, because the Derby is only 2 weeks away.
And let me just make this clear because I've been saying this on the radio. Yeah. Hawthorne is the only place in the Hawthorne Club OTBs, Club Hawthorne OTBs, that you can go do this. There's no other options out there. So one of the biggest sports gaming days in our state every year is the Derby.
Yeah, and the thing that we want to remind everybody of is we're going to have bet and go wagering. We're going to have options. We're going to have all sorts of ways to place those wagers a day of, but it's always easy using the Club Hawthorne app. You see it at the bottom of your screen, wager.clubhawthorne.com. Sign up ahead of time, but put money in your account if you want to play the race from home. It's a great way to do it, Cap, because everybody plays the Derby. I mean, this is one of the things you're going to be talking about, I know, on ESPN 1000. Everybody's going to be talking about it, just kind of leading in to Kentucky Derby Day, because everybody has their pick. There's 20 horses in the gate. Anything can happen for the Derby. You're probably going to have a 4-1 favorite this year, maybe. So it'll be a very wide open race, but so many different options. We want to make sure everybody gets out there and gets that opportunity to play the race too.
Yep. Looking forward to it. And as you said, a 4-1 favorite, which means not telling you we're going to have 100-1 winner, but there could be that Mind That Bird, that Giacomo, that you never know, man. You might have a chance to cash some major league tickets.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Now, we had the final prep race last week. You're looking at the results there of the Lexington Stakes. The thing that was interesting in the Lexington, and you nailed this race, Cap, you were all about Tawny Port. You thought Major General and In Due Time. You were just all about this race. Tawny Port somehow paid $12.20 to win, Cap.
I had no idea how.
This horse should have been the favorite. This horse already had enough points to get into the Derby, but trainer Brad Cox said, hey, I want to help that Derby resume a little bit and show that my horse can win on a conventional dirt surface, because the horse had raced in the Jeff Ruby Stakes prior. Tawny Port was impressive, Cap. Look at this, $12.20 to win, $6.40 to place. The exacta paid $41.80. That's insanity to me.
And that's $1 exacta paying 41 times your money? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So I had Tawny Port in the
Spring
contest.
Stakes Showdown,
Yep, Spring Stakes Showdown. I had that in there, so I was locked in, and I'm watching the race. I had money on it, and I'm thinking, how am I getting these kinds of odds? Okay, maybe I overestimated this horse, and then bam, there's my winner. So it was good.
It was awesome. I mean, and the horse paid great. When you get a payout like that, it's definitely worth jumping on. But what it did for us, Cap, it brought us to where we are now. We know who the top 20 for the points leaderboard is. And we saw that top 20 after last week. And the thing that's interesting as we start to look at the list, there hasn't been any changes. Normally, leading up to the Derby, you're going to have some horses that'll come maybe off the path to the Derby. Some horses try to get in that. But right now, that top 20 is all pointing towards the race. So now you're talking about final workouts. You're talking about post position draw, everything going along those lines there. And Cap, up on your screen right now, we're looking first off at the top 12 points wise for the Derby. And it's interesting to me because Epicenter is your leader at 164. Last I saw, this was the horse that people were saying could be the 4-1 favorite for the Kentucky Derby here. There's some horses on this list, Cap, that I could say I think have major shots in the Derby. There's some horses on this list that I can say I think have no shot in the Derby. But before I talk about that, what are some horses, at least on this first list of horses, that jumped out to you a little bit for the race?
Well, I really like the horse White Abarrio.
Yep.
I would love to talk to you about that one. And then there's just a horse on here that I know it has 74 points. Simplification is a really good horse.
Yeah. These are two horses that took the Florida route, Cap. So that's one of the things that we've seen time and again is taking that route through Florida. You see the Fountain of Youth, you see the Holy Bull. It all comes together in the Florida Derby. So we'll start with White Abarrio because this is the interesting horse where I made a note on a blog on our website today. If the Derby was run at Gulfstream Park, White Abarrio would be the favorite because this is a horse that's never lost at Gulfstream. You see one race at Churchill Downs. That was a race as a 2-year-old. The horse finished third. But the two horses that were in there, Smile Happy, who you see is number 10 on the points leaderboard here. Classic Causeway was a horse that was on the Derby path until its most recent start, which was a little bit of a clunker in the Florida Derby. But Cap, White Abarrio showed some signs that this horse has a little bit of versatility in those last couple starts, actually showed the ability to rate off the pace and run on late. That could be a style that could be really conducive for the Kentucky Derby.
So I'm looking at the early projected odds for Derby Day for White Abarrio. Again, winner of the Florida Derby, got a great jock at Tyler Gaffleone. 15-1 on White Abarrio. Horses won $823,000. I look at this horse. I like its running style. I think it has a chance. I know its lone loss came at Churchill Downs.
That's all right, though.
Bad trip if you go back and watch the race.
And here's the thing about it. I know you are a workout guy, Cap. Look at this horse. This horse gets blistering works leading into races. Had a bullet drill going into the race at Gulfstream and then raced really well. You come out of that race at Gulfstream in the Florida Derby. Look at that last work. 3/8 and 34-2. That's flying, Cap.
This horse
is fast. And here's the thing about it. White Abarrio can show speed, but doesn't have to show speed. And you're right, 15-1. The style for the Derby that I think you want to is on or near the lead. And so oftentimes you see these horses that make the top and never look back. White Abarrio should be forwardly placed. So that's a horse that I agree with you in this spot. And then the other one that you mentioned, Cap, Simplification. Simplification, 74 points going into this race here. But again, you faced off against White Abarrio a couple of times. This is a horse that raced in the Fountain of Youth, though, and was victorious. And Simplification, another one that has shown a few different running styles.
And it's also a horse, another great jock, they're all great, is Jose Ortiz. Simplification's 20-1 in the projected early line. Was caught in the Florida Derby, won the Fountain of Youth, which is a grade 2, not a grade 1. But this is a horse that, as you said, sits there maybe off the lead, but in a great stalking position with a chance to get it done.
And that's what the trip you want. We're going to talk about trips as we get closer to the Derby when we know what's going to be going on for the post draws and that. But a couple things that jumped out to me looking at the list. Zandon's a horse that's going to be a closer. When you're trying to close in a 20-horse field, that's really tough to do. Mo Donegal, another one that's going to try to close. This is a horse that's had bad breaks in 4 of its 5 career starts. And those are 2 horses with a whole lot of points that are going to take a lot of money that I know I'm putting a line through was no shot horses on Derby Day. Tis the Bomb, a horse that's been racing on the Poly. So again, a horse that I'm going to put no shot to on Derby Day. Crown Pride, we haven't seen anybody come out of the races in Dubai. And until I see somebody come out of the race in Dubai and run a big race in the Kentucky Derby, again, I'm dismissing this horse. It gets me all the way down, Cap, to Taiba at 100 points. Zidane Racing Stables, Cap, is the same owner who had Medina Spirit last year with Bob Baffert. we have to talk about the elephant in the room. All right, this horse was with Bob Baffert until the last start in the Santa Anita Derby, where they said, we have to get points if we want to get into the Derby. We think this horse is good. They sent Taibo over to the barn to trainer Tim Yakteen, along with Messier. Everybody talked about Messier. They talked about Forbidden Kingdom. Forbidden Kingdom ran horrible. Horrible. Messier was a horse that ran okay, but Cap, Taiba in only 2 career starts. I'm wondering if this is a horse that could be a factor in the Derby. What do you think?
So it's a really interesting horse, going to be bet down, I think, significantly. Yeah. I don't expect it to have huge odds. Certainly has great breeding, workout times, all of that. I want to go back to the comment you made. Tis the Bomb is a toss for you.
Yes. Toss.
Tis the Bomb is going to probably be the leading money winner in the race.
Mm-hmm. Toss.
Leading money winner. It wins on dirt, turf, and synthetic. Second in the Breeders' Cup juvenile turf. Leading money winner, as I said, won the Jeff Ruby at Turfway. Toss?
You got to go back 11 years ago, Cap, to find when Animal Kingdom came out of the Jeff Ruby Stakes, which was a different race at that time, on a synthetic surface to win the Kentucky Derby. Tis the Bomb. All right. The win on dirt was a race that was slated for turf at Ellis Park as a 2-year-old that came off the turf. It was left with 6 horses. It was a terrible field of 6. And yes, the horse waxed him. Okay. Since then, turf. Horrible dirt effort in the Holy Bull. Horrible. And then 2 races on Poly where the horse ran good. I'm not taking my chances with this horse. And I think the horse will take money because some speed figures are massive on Tis the Bomb, but they're not coming on dirt, Cap. And the horse has to close from off the pace. If this horse wins, this horse is going to beat me in the Kentucky Derby. It sounds like you're going to use the horse, huh?
I think I have it as a live long shot to absolutely use underneath.
All right. It'll be interesting. I will give the horse 0 consideration in the race at all. No consideration. I don't like the horse. I don't think the horse has any shot. All right, Cap. Going to page number 2. Horses 13 through 20. You look in here. All right. Unoho. I hope the horse is in the race because you can toss it out of the race. This is another horse that has absolutely no shot. All right. Morello was terrible last out. Bad. I don't think that horse has any shot. The horse that intrigued me on this list, Cap, is Early Voting. Early Voting has 50 points in here. Comes from the barn of trainer Chad Brown. This horse ran second in the Wood Memorial. But, Cap, there's no pace in the Derby. None. And here's the thing. Summers tomorrow maybe can show some speed. What if Early Voting gets loose on the lead? This is a horse that could cruise along. Do you have odds anywhere nearby you for Early Voting? I'm curious to see what kind of price this horse would be.
I've got Early Voting is 20-1.
Okay.
Projected.
Because again, you look through this, and we've been talking about some of these horses, and I'm going through. All right, Cyberknife, sired by Gunrunner, should definitely be in the mix. Should be a solid factor. Taiba, sired by Gunrunner, should be another solid factor in here. Early Voting, sired by Gunrunner. And Gunrunner is featured prominently here in the Kentucky Derby, but this is one of the few horses in this field that I think is committed to the front end.
You talking about Cyberknife?
Horse could steal it.
Cyberknife,
maybe.
Toss.
Why?
First of all, what was the quote from his trainer, Brad Cox? Brad Cox said, and I quote, he has tons of talent, but is mentally immature. You're sticking that horse in front of 100 and whatever thousand?
True. And let me ask you this. Okay. And here's the question, because I don't know if they've listed it, and you may have it. I haven't looked closely enough. Florent Giroux rode Cyberknife.
Yep.
Okay. Florent Giroux rode Tawny Port for Brad Cox.
And he's staying on Cyberknife.
Okay. That's the question there. That's what you got to find out. The rider probably had his choice, and he chooses Cyberknife over Tawny Port. Here's the thing, though. All right. Mentally unstable. Oaklawn Park on Arkansas Derby Day had 60,000
mentally
people.
Immature.
Okay, 60,000 people.
Unstable doesn't sound good.
Okay, immature. Okay, but you're right though, Cap. Because here's the thing: the paddock at Churchill is not huge. You put
That's what blew me away the first time I was down there, and I wasn't even at the Derby. I was there. There was another fairly significant race, but nothing like the Derby.
Yeah.
It was so small and packed. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's not big, and this is a big difference here, and it's something you have to look at for the Derby. It's a small paddock. It's compact. It is packed. It is packed with people surrounding the paddock, packed with people in the paddock. The walk from the paddock to the racetrack is very intimidating for a racehorse because you're going from the outdoor paddock through the grandstand where you have some darkness and that, all of a sudden coming out to the roar of 100,000 fans and my old Kentucky home. Yep. There's racehorses that get affected and lose the race right there before they even step foot on the racetrack. So maybe you're onto something here with Cyberknife.
So Un Ojo, are you on that horse?
No, God, no.
Okay, Un Ojo was the 75-1 winner of the Rebel at Oak Lawn. That's a grade 2, not a grade 1. I get it. I am going to toss that horse, though. I am not going to use that horse in my exotics.
If he's not 100-1, I'll be shocked.
Un Ojo is projected
50-1 or shorter, I'll be shocked.
I scribbled down my notes as I prepped for this. Un Ojo 40-1.
Okay. What about Zozos? That's a third Brad Cox trainee. And here's the thing that's interesting, all right, about Zozos. If Cox has 3 horses in the race, do you send one of them, which would be Zozos, to assure that you're going to have a quick enough pace for Tawny Port, or assure you're going to have a quick enough pace for Cyberknife? Because Tawny Port's going to come from off the pace. Cyberknife's going to come from off the pace. Zozos, I'm looking through here, owned by Barry and Joni Butzow. Tawny Port, owned by Peachtree Stable. I'm flipping over to Cyberknife here, because that's the other question. You have different ownership, so it's not like, it's Gold Square LLC for Cyberknife. If you had same ownership, I would say one works for the other, Cap. With different ownership, you just got to kind of run your race. But if you're the trainer of the horse, don't you say, hey, I kind of push it along a little bit, get out there, your best shots to get on the lead?
So Zozos was second in the Louisiana Derby to Epicenter.
Right.
You're a big Epicenter guy.
Yeah. I'm not betting Epicenter at 4-1.
And Zozos is going to absolutely be near the front when this race takes off.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Has to be. Post position is going to be the key for Zozos.
If you tell me Zozos gets
buried on the inside,
20, they're done, or on the 1, they're done.
Buried inside, buried outside, they're hurt. You look here. I mean, just looking through some of these horses. I mean, early voting, same thing. Buried inside, buried outside, done. If Zozos draws in the middle of the pack and early voting is all the way on the inside or outside or somewhere is tomorrow, Zozos has a shot. This is a horse that's improved each and every out. And here's the thing. Epicenter, Cap, is the leading points earner right now. Zozos in the Louisiana Derby was sent off at odds of 5-2 in the same race as Epicenter, and Epicenter was the even money favorite. So there was a lot of consideration to Zozos here. This is a horse that might be a legitimate racehorse.
I'm not convinced that horse is going to win the race. That horse will definitely be in some of my exotics.
Yeah, I think he can be in the exotics as well. All right, last couple of horses, and a horse that everybody was talking about, Cap, which I want to talk about a little bit, is horse number 19 in the point standings. 40 points on Charge It. This one from the barn of trainer Todd Pletcher. You talk about how good White Abarrio was in the Florida Derby. A lot of people said that Charge It had just a horrible trip, hit the gate, was lugging in, had some issues in the stretch, and still closed enough to finish second. Can a horse like Charge It, in your mind, step up enough, Cap, to get into the mix in the Derby?
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. Projected at 20-1. My one question is, horse has not run a lot of races.
Right.
Do you step onto the track coming out of the darkness, as you said, hear a roar of however many, insane amount of people, especially now that I'm not telling you COVID's over, but people are resuming their lives.
Yeah, it'll be a packed house.
It'll be packed.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy packed. Does that horse step out and hear my old Kentucky home and ask, can I have a mint julep and just hang out? Because I ain't ready for this.
Yeah. And that's the potential, and that's the concern for a race like this. The same concern for Tybo with only 2 starts, for Chargent, and you have to look at that. Some of these horses that have a little bit more seasoning compared to some others, it definitely changes things. All right, Cap, looking at the list here again of the top 20, anybody that I missed on here that you wanted to point out?
No, I think we're pretty good. Like White Abarrio really, really is intriguing to me. And if I'm going to get anywhere close to 10 to 15 to 1 on my money, that might be where I'm headed.
People don't give this horse consideration. Saffie Joseph Jr. was the leading trainer of the championship meet at Gulfstream Park, which is a tremendous meet. This is a horse that has a lot of ability. This is a horse that works well. I know you love your workouts. This is a horse that's done everything right. I think if White Abarrio draws in the middle of the field, White Abarrio could be very tough in the race. But Cap, that's the 20 for this week. So next week, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back. It'll be a little bit more of a brief talk, basically seeing if there was any change in the 20. Also talking a little bit, we're going to have some of the final workouts for these horses leading into the race. I know you're big time on those workouts, and that's one of the things that's very important to you. But I want to see if any of your opinions change in that final week leading up to the Derby. And then after that, it's going to be post-draw time. We're going to have the field for the race and put together our wagers. How's that sound?
That sounds great. Looking forward to it, and start to lock in on the first Saturday in May. Really excited. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
Yeah, I'm ready for it too, Cap. Going to be a lot of fun. As always, for everybody, check out the website, derby.hawthorneracecourse.com. Like you mentioned, Cap, you can go to Hawthorne. You can go to any Club Hawthorne OTBs in Northern Illinois. That's your option. Or wager on the Club Hawthorne app. So I know you have the app as well, too. So you're going to be there. I know you'll be placing some wagers for sure.
Oh, man. You're kidding? I'm going to have a bunch of wagers going. It's one of my favorite days. Get up in the morning, get my workout in, then it's coffee, handicap again, and start playing races Friday and Saturday. I can't wait.
Yeah, you're going to have awesome cards, Cap. When we come back in a couple of weeks, too, we'll talk about the Derby Oaks. We're going to talk about Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, too. But next week, again, a brief show talking about the top 20 once again, see if there's any changes, Cap. So we'll do it again, same time next week, my friend.
All right, get that arm loose for your
I'm ready.
45 and over league.
I'm ready. Opening weekend this weekend, my friend. I'm ready to go.
Go get them.
All right. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you again next week.
See ya.